let's talk a little bit about evaluating websites. So now that you know how to search the internet a little better, you need to know how to evaluate all the stuff that you will find. First, let's talk about the difference between the internet and the World Wide Web. And surprise, there's a difference. A lot of people use the terms synonymously, and I do as well, but in reality, they're two different things. The World Wide Web is kind of a subset. So the internet is anything that is available online, whether it's publicly accessible or not. And an example of that is the library databases. The library databases are online. They're on the internet. But they're not a part of the World Wide Web. So because not everyone can get to them. We can get to them as faculty and students at Southeastern, but somebody who just wanted to type in the address and get to the databases, who wasn't a part of our institution, could not get to them. So the World Wide Web is a subset of the internet, and it includes all that is freely available online. And when we talk about searching the web, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about searching the World Wide Web, not the internet in general. And the documents that are found on the World Wide Web are those that need the most evaluation. Okay, so who do you trust when you're evaluating websites on the World Wide Web? Well, you have to go through and bring a discerning eye to every website you find, but some are considered a little bit more trustworthy off the bat than others. The first among those that are trustworthy are the government websites, which can make you like, ha ha ha, the government's so trustworthy. But in reality, those government websites contain the most trustworthy information because they are produced by government agencies, whether state or national, and those websites have .gov as their domain, which is that little suffix at the end. That's what that's called. Underneath that are educational institutions, and educational institutions will always have .edu, while you can find some non-universities using the .edu domain. Most of the time you see something with .edu, it's going to be a college or a university. And under that are those that are not-for-profit, and those have .org. But just because something is not-for-profit does not necessarily mean that they're giving you good information. They could be giving you bad information for their own purposes, or just because they haven't put a whole lot of thought or research into it. And at the bottom are the .coms. Those are the for-profit websites. So there are 5 criteria for evaluating publicly accessible sites on the World Wide Web. 1 is accuracy, 2 authority, 3 is objectivity, 4 is currency, and the last is coverage. We'll go through those pretty quickly. When you're thinking about accuracy, you want to think, who wrote this page and can you contact him or her? What is the purpose of the document and why was it produced? And is this person qualified to write this document? If someone has qualifications to write a particular document, say you're looking for information about constellations, and you go to a page and it says, oh, this page was written by Dr. John Doe, PhD in astrophysics. Usually, if somebody has a PhD in astrophysics and they're going to write a page on constellations, they're going to put that somewhere on there because they worked hard for that PhD and they want to let you know, yes, I wrote this page about constellations, and this is the degree that I have to back it up. So, if a person has qualifications, they're almost always going to say so. The next is authority, so who published the document and is it separate from the webmaster? Check the domain, that's those suffixes, the .govs, .edus that we just went over, and what institution publishes the document, and does the publisher list his or her qualifications, because the publisher and the author may not be the same person. The webmaster and the author may not be the same person, and usually if it's people who have some sort of knowledge on the particular subject that you're searching, they're always going to tell you. They're always going to say, this website is useful to you and here is why, because we have all these qualifications. If they don't mention the qualifications, then sometimes it means that's because they don't really have them. You always want to look for objectivity and bias in everything, but especially on things that are found on the World Wide Web, because sometimes people use the internet to voice their opinions, and you don't necessarily want to use information that you find that which the goal is to change your mind about something. So think about the goal and the objectives of the page. If it's informational, then it's good. If it's to change somebody's mind on a particular subject, then it's probably not good. How detailed is the information, and what opinions, if any, are expressed by the author? Good, solid information on the internet is almost always going to contain no opinions that can be discerned from the author. It's going to strictly be fact-based. And then there's currency. When was it produced? When was it updated? And how up to date are the links? Even though we think of the internet and the World Wide Web as being this new thing that's not been around very long, there's some really old information on the internet that you can get to. Sometimes you can get pages that are now 10 years old, 15 years old, so things that were produced in 1995, and if that's the date on the website that you find, then you probably want to try to use something else, because 15 year, you go to the internet for current information. You can find 15-year-old information in a book in the library. You don't have to go to the internet for that. But look for a date on the website from when it was produced, and then look for a date from when it was updated. If you don't find either of those things, you might want to look to see if they've linked to any other websites and how up to date the links are. If they link to brand new sites that work, then you know that this is a relatively recent site and it might be good to use. The last is coverage. Look at the links. Again, not just to see if they work or not, but do they complement the document's theme? Do they make sense with the topic that you're looking for? Is there a balance of image and text? You don't want something that's completely image-based, because that's usually not going to be the most scholarly. And then, is the information presented cited correctly? Do they say where they got the information from? It didn't all just come from their heads, if it's worth anything. So if you have any doubts, it's always better to skip it, especially when you're using online material for scholarly works, for research papers. You probably will find better information from databases, but you know, especially those .gov, .edu websites, you could probably find some really good information out there.